Baba Is You is a difficult and complex puzzle game, and having levels that teach the player as they progress and puzzles built in a way that forces players in the right direction without giving everything away, Baba Is You fills players with an amazing sense of accomplishment, making the game a great experience. Without rules, we don't have a game. Rules need to be predictable, understood, and interact with each other to form new rules. A basic rule can be broken up into 3 elements: nouns, operators, and properties. For example, the rule lava is hot, lava is the noun, is the operator, and the property is hot. In combination with the rule ice will melt, we get a new rule, ice will melt in lava. Baba Is You is a game that explores this basic structure to its fullest. It's a block-pushing puzzle game about creating rules using basic nouns, operators, and properties, represented as blocks of text in a level. And the act of creating these rules follows a few simple rules themselves. You can move around, text can be pushed, and when text forms a rule, that rule is true. For example, in the first level of the game, there's the rule wall is stop, trapping Baba, but pushing the word stop out of the way, it removes the rule, and Baba is able to waltz right through. Similarly, there are no rules that state how the level is won, but by forming the rule flag is win, when Baba reaches the flag, the level is complete. These 3 simple rules are understandable and predictable, but when put together, they create hugely complex levels, like this one here. How would anybody know how to solve this? Simply having great rules does not make a great puzzle game, so let's take a look at what does.
So what makes a puzzle good? Fun is important to a puzzle being good, but that fun should come from the challenge. And that challenge happens when the player feels a sense of trust and respect from the designer. Now, how do you get that trust and respect? You invite the player to find a solution. You don't hand them one. You let them try to find it themselves. But you also make sure that solution is attainable. And so if you do achieve that, the player has a sense of accomplishment of getting through something themselves.
So how does Baba Is You achieve this? The game uses a similar structure to Nintendo's 4-step level design philosophy, where the designers introduce a concept in a safe environment, develops it in the next area, twists it or combines it with previous mechanics, and then offers a conclusion. In Baba Is You, the game is divided into distinct areas that each introduce a couple different mechanics, and each area has levels that build off of each other to teach the player the new mechanic. For example, in the second area of the game, Solitary Island, the first level introduces the property float by having Baba float above the flag, unable to beat the level, requiring you to simply make Baba win instead. The second level prevents the player from winning by having floating skulls block Baba's way to the goal. Removing float from Baba only makes you sink in the water, but making the water float instead lets you pass right under both. The third level has a river that makes Baba sink, but has floating text that you can push across to make the rock the goal instead. The next level builds off of that level, and so on. So although not every area follows the structure exactly, it serves to show that Baba Is You teaches players while still letting them figure out solutions for themselves, allowing the difficulty of the puzzles to increase without making the solutions seem unattainable. All this together gives the players an amazing sense of accomplishment. Because the rule system can be so complex, puzzles in Baba Is You have many solutions that differ from the intended one. For example, in one of the earlier levels, Volcano, it presents a river of hot lava that melts Baba on contact. The simplest solution is to form the rule lava is push, and just push the lava out of the way. The more clever solution is to form the rule lava is melt, since lava is hot and it melts itself and vanishes, problem solved. A third ridiculous option is to form the rule lava is Baba and march the horde of Babas to victory. While finding interesting and unique ways to solve a puzzle is fun, designers need to make sure that there's no solution easier than the intended one. They also need to ensure that players don't get too lost with all the different options. The game's designer, Arvi Teikari, solved this by starting with the solution and building his puzzles backwards in a way that makes the player need to use the intended solution.
And then when I got this kind of an idea, I used the term reverse engineering. So when I got this idea of, hey, that would be cool to see in a level, I tried to figure out what kind of a level do I have to build so that when the player is playing the level, they have to use that interaction.
This method ensures that there's always some sort of built-in hint that players can use before they get too stumped on a puzzle. A game with mechanics as interesting as this could have just been an interesting gimmick or a game with a too high barrier to entry. But instead, because of Arvi Teikari's brilliant puzzle design, we get the wonderful game that is Baba Is You.